Tuesday Talks at 10:30. I'm Stacy Niedenthal. This is Connecting to Spirit with Stacy. Just let me know when you're on so I can say hello. Having some technical difficulties this morning. I apologize. There we go. All right. So I see it. So I know that we're on now. So good morning. This is Tuesday Talks at 10:30. My name is Stacy Niedenthal. Sorry I was running late this morning, having some technical difficulties there, but got everything up and running, so we're good to go. So every Tuesday at 10:30, I come to you to talk to you about grief. I come to talk to you about meditation, coming back home, oneness, grief, different things that maybe you aren't always comfortable in speaking to other people about. But we do this every Tuesday that I come live, and if there's a particular subject you would like me to speak about, just put it in the comments or message me and we can talk about them. Later this week and next week, I'm going to have some lives where I have actual clients who have had readings done, to just have an open conversation to talk about what their feelings were and what they got out of the reading. And it's hard to describe a reading from my point of view for you until you actually sit in on one and you have a reading. So let me know if you're here. Say hello. And I always like to start with my intentions. So my name is Stacy. I'm a child of God. I'm an evidential medium and a spiritual healer. And I've been given a gift from God to channel spirit using love and light for my higher good and the higher good of those that God puts in my path. I'm not the medium that says, I see death all around you and you're going to be dead in 10 days. My gift, my prayer is that God, that spirit, that angels bring in the most loving message to help your spirit heal. Most people who come to me are either at a crossroads looking for direction, which is kind of where we're at today, or they want to connect with someone on the other side. So if you were to sit across from me during a reading, this is part of the intention that you would hear and we would connect to your loved ones and bring them through with healing messages. So this is not an angel card reading. This is not a reading. Good morning. I see a couple good mornings. Awesome. This is a time where we just get together and have a conversation. So yesterday was Memorial Day. I should have had some hindsight and probably talked about this last week to get you ready and prep you for Memorial Day. But Memorial Day is, it's that remembering the men and women who have served, who have put their life in the grips of danger so that we can have freedom, to keep us safe. And I'm surprised how many people didn't realize that this was what that holiday was. You know, a lot of people, oh, happy Memorial Day, and they don't realize it is actually a memorial day of those that we have lost. So Memorial Day originally was called Decoration Day. And I never knew that when I was looking up some information about Memorial Day. It was called Decoration Day because it was meant to put flowers on the graves of those who had passed while in service or who had served the country. And the end of May was chosen because flowers are starting to bloom and it's that rebirth and things like that. But it's making the graveyards colorful, a colorful memorial within themselves. Gosh, with my technical difficulties, my brain's a little technically going crazy here a little bit. So, so we should forever remember those who have served. We should forever honor those who have served, whether it be our veterans, whether it be our first line of defense, our responders, but those who have fallen, saving our freedoms. And I'm, like I said, I'm not only talking about the servicemen and women, but those that run in the face of danger. They choose to run into the face of danger. They choose to risk their lives in order that we can have a better life. So it's one of those things where Memorial Day is a day that we should stand in honor of them. And I don't know if I didn't know or I didn't remember that on Memorial Day at 3 o'clock, you were supposed to stand in silence, honoring them. I had either, like I said, forgotten that or hadn't remembered that. So there's a verse in the Bible that says that there's no greater love than someone who would put their life down for someone else. And when you think about all of our veterans, when you think of all of our fallen soldiers, or our first line response, the first response teams that run into the face of danger, there's no greater love than that. It takes a lot for someone, I would think anyway, that would completely put their life on hold and serve for 2, 4, 6, 8, how many years to protect this great nation. And those people we should hold a lot of honor and a lot of esteem and a lot of respect for. So like I said, I probably should have thought about this last week to do it, but we're doing it the day after. So I still want to hold that respect for Memorial Day and to remind us that those who have honored it, those who have done this for us, deserve our respect. My mother used to place flowers on her. Oh, I just got a low battery. Boy, I'll tell you what, my electronics today. But my mother used to place flowers on the grave of her brother. And I never completely understood it. But I always remember when we would go to the cemetery and you'd see all these beautiful flowers on the graves, just how beautiful it looked and how pretty it looked. And, just remembering those who have gone before us. So it's one of those things that I'm thinking, I need to start that tradition again. I don't think I've ever by myself taken flowers to the cemetery. I've gone with my husband to put something on his father's grave or, kind of trim up around the headstone. But I've never done that for any family members. So I'm thinking that's something that I need to do. So other things that we can do to help remember those who have gone before us is, keep an item of theirs with you. And I wanted to kind of move to that, talking about Memorial Day, because we've all lost people that we love. So we want to remember them. We want to memorialize them somehow. So I thought we would talk about ways to do this. And like I said, keeping something of theirs with you at all times. My mom had this silver dollar that she carried around in her wallet forever, that my father gave her years ago, that I now carry with me. And it's just something that it's carrying on the tradition of what she did. I have a bottle of perfume of one grandmother's that every once in a while I'll spray it. And then I have a handkerchief of another grandmother, and I have a necklace of my Uncle Glenn's that you hear me talk about all the time. When I wear it, like, I'll hold it and I'll think about him. But it's those memories that we want to keep alive within ourselves. Some people, have bears or pillows made out of shirts of their loved ones so that they've got something to look at. I have a bear of an apron that my mom always wore. So it's those memories. It's keeping those memories alive. Some people, you can support a cause that they believed in. When I'm talking about, and I know this kind of sounds, off the hook a little bit, and I don't completely have my thoughts clear. But when we want to remember them, we want to honor them. And our veterans are someone who we need to honor, I feel, more than just once a year. Just like we honor our loved ones who have passed. Those veterans who passed had family members. They had wives, they had husbands, they had children. They had, they're remembering them every day. So it's us allowing ourselves to remember the ones that we've lost as well. Another thing that you can do is create a living reminder, an angel garden, or planting a tree, or dedicating a bench to a park, but doing something in their memory to honor them. Creating a shadow box with some things in. We have, I guess we probably have 2 or 3 little shadow boxes with pictures of our dogs and their collar and their, their dog tag on it. It's just those things that, they were a part of my life and I want to remember them. So when I look at this shadow box, I just, I remember them. Telling stories about them. What greater way when you get together with family and friends to tell stories about, the ones who have gone before you, keeping their memory alive in the stories and the things that they did. And you've heard me say before, at my mom's funeral, it was so interesting to me when others got up to speak about her, because they talked about a woman I didn't necessarily know. And the woman that I knew, they didn't necessarily know. I knew her as my mom, but they knew her as a friend or a coworker. And it was so interesting to hear these stories. I love to hear stories about, about my mom or my uncle or friends of mine who have passed. Other things you can do is go to their favorite place or their favorite restaurant in honor of them. Salute them. Here's to my mom, and in her favorite restaurant or whatever. But something to do that keeps their memory alive. Leaving an empty chair at the table, whether it be every day or Thanksgiving or Christmas. I take a chair and I have a Christmas vest that was hers that I put on the chair, and everybody knows that that's Mom's chair. She loved Christmas so much that it just didn't seem right to not, and she always wore that vest, to not have that vest on a chair, to have her present at the dinner. Getting a piece of jewelry with their names on it, getting their tattoo. I have a tattoo on my arm with her signature on it. All these things that we can do to keep their memory alive, to keep them ever ingrained within us. Have an annual picnic in their honor. Advocate a change in the law if something happened. The reason why your person passed was because of a law that needed changed. Advocate for that. Be part of a support group or a grieving group. You can, create a foundation, or you can donate to a foundation in their name. I think that the best thing that we can do to honor them is to live our best life. It's hard sometimes when we lose someone because we never really know how our life is going to be without them. So we kind of put ourselves on pause and our life changes dramatically. I personally feel that when we do that, I know that Spirit understands the grief and things that we go through. But wouldn't you want, after you pass, wouldn't you want your family and friends to go on to live the best life that they could possibly? To honor you, to honor your presence, to honor the things that you taught them, instead of just pausing and being on hold and, not moving forward. And just because you move forward doesn't mean that you forget. It just means that, the best way to beat death is through life. My mom would have been so heartbroken if she knew I gave up on a dream or gave something up or stopped doing something because she had passed. That would absolutely break her heart. She would want to be my biggest cheerleader in spirit and watch me grow and watch me continue to do the things that I was dreaming of, that I had talked to her about, or things like that. Does that make sense? So don't be afraid to talk to them. Don't be afraid to talk about them. Don't be afraid to listen for their voice, to ask them for signs, to look through old photo albums, to read old letters, to do something in their memory. Because their passing doesn't mean that they never lived. They still had this life. Think about the veterans. They're heroes. They are absolute heroes to dive into the face of danger so that we might live a better life. To me, some of my loved ones who have passed, they were my heroes. They taught me a lot of things. Not to the extent of our armed forces, of course, but still, my mom gave me life. She taught me lessons. She was there to talk to if I had a problem. You know, she was there to teach me what a mom was supposed to do, you know, and to spoil her grandkids and to love her great-grands. You know, I don't ever want to take that memory, that spirit away from what my memories are of her, what my kids' memories are. So honoring them, because to me, they you know, she is my hero. She is one, you know, and you'll hear me say a lot, my Uncle Glenn, definitely my hero. Served in World War II, you know, worked very hard all his life, raised 3 men. He loved, absolutely adored his wife. He was my hero because he understood what unconditional love was. When I would go to talk to him about a situation where I was just ready just to shut somebody down, he would say, well, now they're family, you know, or we would have a conversation about it. And he would talk me through it. Didn't always agree with it, but he was always there for me to have that conversation. He's now gone, but I still remember his smile. I still remember, you know, he'd sit and hold my hand and he would, like, you know, tap my hand or, you know, tell me, I love you. You're my very best friend. I still remember that, and I never want to forget that. And I want to honor his memory by being that to someone else. Does that make sense? So even if your loved one was not a hero, in normal terms, Memorial Day recognizes our veterans, those that have passed, that put their lives on the line for us. But for me, every day is that Memorial Day for my Uncle Glenn, you know, for my friend Rick, for my, you know, my friend Deb, for those who have gone before me, because I remember them every single day. I want to honor them in some sort of way, remembering the stories, remembering the laughter, remembering the lessons that were learned. So there's a quote that I wanted to talk about. Of course, I always like to talk about quotes. Quotes always seem to make things like click for me, like, oh my God, it makes sense. And this quote says, in the hearts of those who loved you, you will always be there. As you were, you will always be treasured forever in our memories. I keep you in my heart, the love of the past, for there it is planted forever to last. Your presence I miss, your memory I treasure, loving you always and forgetting you never. And that's what, oh, that gave me chills. That's what memories are about. There is the grieving period. We will grieve our loved one for the rest of our life. To me, grief never really ends. It gets easier and then it gets harder and then it gets easier and then it gets harder. But honoring them, memorializing them, talking about them, talking about stories, or, you know, carrying something that was theirs that was special. You know, I've got several clients who have done something special for one of their parents who's no longer with them, or a grandparent at a wedding where they would, you know, carry a picture of them in the bouquet, or there would be pictures of them up on the reception table where they were supposed to sit. They were honoring them because they had such an impact on them. And when I'm reading this, in the hearts of those who loved you, so your loved one loved you, you will always be there. My mom will always be here. My friends will always be here. My uncle will always be here. As you were and always will be treasured forever in my memory. Memory is something that no one can take away from you. I mean, old age, right? But looking through old pictures, putting that shadow box together that helps me, you know, to just kind of smile when I think about one of my dogs that have passed. It's forever remembering them. I keep you in my heart, the love of the past, for there it was planted within me. That love was planted within me. Who was the first person who taught me unconditional love? My mom. My mom did. You know, she carried me in her womb. She gave birth to me. She helped me through, you know, any sicknesses, helped me with my homework, helped me with boys, whatever. My mom was the first one that showed me unconditional love. That is planted within me forever. Your presence, I miss. I miss her. Your memory I treasure, loving you always and forgetting you never. So this Memorial Day, even though it was yesterday, and we can, continue this, but continue to think about that their memory is planted within you forever. They had a big impact on your life for whatever reason. Share that impact with other people, It's just all these things just come rushing through my head of what I should do to be a better person, to be more like those that have gone before me. What traditions? My mom, oh my gosh, she was definitely the glue that held this family together. Because, if she said we were all getting together, everybody showed up. I try that, I get, a third or a half or a few people that show up. But when Mom had a picnic at her house, like the whole freaking family showed up, cousins and, and I know everybody has their own lives, and I know, people were out of state and things like that. But I mean, Mom people would come in for her Memorial Day picnics or her 4th of July picnics or a family reunion. They would fly in from California or North Carolina or wherever they were coming from. That's that tradition that she did. Not really sure what I'm doing wrong that I can't get that to happen, but you know what? That was her. So I have to think of a tradition to honor her that will be my tradition that I can carry on for generations to come. So this is just something I wanted to talk to you about, for you to ponder in your mind about. Every day basically is Memorial Day. It doesn't have to be just one set day a year. Every day we want to hold our loved one's memory in our heart. We want to be thankful for the first responders and for our veterans who put their life on the line for us. We want to remember that every single day that we get up is a closer day that we're going to pass. So why not live it to the fullest? Why not live it in honor of those who gave you life, right? So with that, I just want to end with this quote that says, in the hearts of those in the hearts of those who loved you, you will always be there, as you were and will always be treasured in my heart and my memory. I keep you in my heart, the love of the past, for there it was, planted forever to last. Your presence I miss, your memory I treasure, loving you always and forgetting you never. I think that says it all. I think that sums it all up. Love as many people as possible. Help as many people as possible. Keep their memories alive. Today and every day. All right, guys. Sorry about the technical difficulties that I had this morning, that I was running late. My phone's blinking that my memory is low, or my battery is low, so I don't want my memory. So I don't want to cut this off in the middle because the phone went dead. So I just want to end this with saying that I love you all. You have all touched my life in some way or another. And I pray that you're living the life you love and you're loving the life you live. If not, you're the only one who can change it. I'll talk to you all later. Peace out, and I love you. Bye-bye.